What's going on, guys? Back here with another video, and today we are going to be reviewing the Unrivaled Supreme Collection Will Osprey action figure. You can kind of see my reflection right there in the film, but I pre-ordered this I'd have to say 30 minutes or an hour after it came up on ringside. I was sitting there waiting for it to drop. I was like, any time now. And I believe we were playing cards, and I got a notification from ringside about new stuff being put up there off of Instagram. And I was like, okay, so let me check it out. And sure enough, it was the Will Osprey. I ordered it right there. And about 2 months later, I believe, here we are. I did get this yesterday, but we were pretty busy yesterday. I was on the road all day, and I just didn't have any time to film. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get into the packaging here. We do have Will Osprey, the figure itself, right there in the packaging. We do have Supreme Collection right there at the top. Same stuff we'll see with the regular packaging off the Supremes like normal. The stuff on the side there. And the other set of legs and the screaming face. And then we could go ahead and get it to the back of the packaging there. We do have Will Osprey. Picture of himself right there. Looks good. No description or nothing on these. But the figure looks really good. I think I'm going to order another one just for the other gear. That way I could have two. Because I can't decide. Because this gear is incredible. So I'm really excited to get it out of the packaging. We are going to go ahead and get it on the turntable like we normally do, talk about it, and then get into the figures, accessories, and then the figure itself. And here's a look at the figure out of the packaging on the display, turntable, whatever you want to call it. This figure, for one, I just got to say is incredible. I only really have a few complaints about this figure, but they're slight. One of them's a kind of major problem with it, but don't get too worried. It is an incredible figure because we do got the extra stuff with it. We got the extra legs and everything. We are gonna look at all that stuff in a few minutes, but no, this figure moves incredible. The more I look at the jacket, the more I find stuff on the jacket. The more you look, the more detail, the more in depth the jacket will go with the stuff. It moves around really good. I have no problems with it. I think it's incredible. I think it captures Will Osprey really good, actually. I have, like I said, a few problems with it, but we are going to go ahead and look at the figure's accessories, and then we'll go ahead and look at the figure itself. Here's a look at the figure's accessories out of the packaging. Again, everything looks amazing. The more you look at the gear, the cooler it gets and everything. We are going to go ahead and start off with the most important part of the accessories here is the jacket. This thing, for one, is massive. It's got a little bit of weight to it, too, because of all the details with it. But we do have that right there. Good material. Okay. Here's my problem. We're going to go ahead and start off with the problem. This jacket stains, but this doesn't stain, this doesn't stain. That's the part that stains. The black piece is what stains, the fur right here. So I did already see a little bit of staining on mine. Some people haven't seen staining on theirs yet, but we know over time it will cause staining. But we are going to go ahead and look at the jacket, though. We do have this right here, which is some kind of material. Now, if you look, I don't know if that's, look at the back of the jacket on the box. I don't know if that's how that's supposed to be, but looks good there. Then we do got the hood. The hood does open up a little bit. Fur around it. The fur around there. And just looking at this figure, you got the, like the yellowish gold right there. And the back, you got all different kinds of designs. Just looks incredible. Like I said, the more you look, like this side, you got the fur right here, and this is soft, and then you got the molded on chain with the wrap around right here that wraps around it. But this figure jacket is incredible. This beats, I think, anything we have ever seen as far as cloth stuff that comes with a figure. It is sad because it does stain, but, well, I mean, you could still put it on there, but we know it's going to stain. But we are going to go ahead and look at the other stuff. We're going to go ahead and look at, here's the one that comes with, I believe it is his Dynasty gear. This kind of matches up with the jacket, with the purple and the gold. There's that, and the purple right there. But the gear looks incredible. We can look at that a little bit right there. Looks good. The molded on kick pads look incredible. The back of the foot right there. Back of the trunks. This looks incredible. Get into the other one right here. This is kind of the basic green. I mean, it's still not a basic gear, but I think I'm going to use the other one on him for right now. I'm thinking about getting another one so I could have him in the 2 gears. But this just looks incredible. We got the 2 different shades of green, the gold and the white. And if you look close, there is designs in the green right there. It's not just regular, like, painted on green. They do have some designs in there. I'm going to try to get the camera to focus. You can see it in there a little bit. But it looks incredible. Again, molded on kick pads. Everything looks really good with this figure. No problems with it. Then we're going to go ahead and get to the head sculpts. I feel like these capture Will Osprey really good. This is just like a normal face scan. We do have kind of the messy hair there. Then we do have, this is kind of a fixed up hair, kind of Will Osprey, like promo gear. I'm planning on doing a promo gear Will Osprey. I mean, this just looks incredible. Excuse me. I think this, the likeness of Will Osprey right there, it just looks so much like him right there. The beard and everything, it just looks incredible. Then we do have like the Screaming head sculpt right there, which looks really good. Kind of mid-match right here with the hair messed up, kind of like the regular face right there. It looks really good. They got it down again. This head sculpt looks incredible. Next, we got the hands here. We do got one open hand, like a chopping hand or opposing hand. 2 grappling or mic holding hands. And then we do have 2 of the signature hands there. And we do have 1 pointing hand, which, again, posing, you can point at somebody, something like that. So really cool there. We do got a bunch of accessories with this one, as we know. We are going to go ahead and look at the figure itself. And here's a look at the figure out of the packaging. Again, moves around incredible, looks incredible. We can go ahead and look at everything right here. We got the head sculpt. I did pop the smiling head scan on there. Looks good there. And just the gear. Again, we've already went over the gear and everything. Looks really good. We do got the first time we were seeing the tattoos on a Will Osprey action figure here. The last one was based off of before he got the tattoos. We do got that one right there. And now I believe he's got more tattoos than that. If he does, I'm going to plug in a picture right here. So you see that he does have more tattoos. But like I was saying earlier with the staining issue, you could see a little bit right there. And also, this is just from the tape. And everything right here, the tape, they put the plastic wrap around, that way it doesn't stain. And they taped just random tape on the figure. I don't know why. So I am going to try to wash that off. I'm trying to get some of it off now. But yeah, kind of, you can see a little bit of residue around it. I'll try to fix that later. But again, tattoos look really good. Got the one on the back arm right there on the tricep. Looks really good. We do have the butterfly joints, but like I said, the figure looks incredible. Again, one thing that I thought was going to be a problem when we first saw this figure is on the prototype images, there was a huge gap right here. Like, he was sticking up a lot higher. Again, he still does stick up a lot higher than another figure. Like, I can show you another figure here. Like, that sits pretty level. And there's a little raise right there. I can show you the other Will Osprey. I guess that'd be better. This kind of just fits a little bit better. There's a little raise there, but they did fix it for the most part. We are going to go ahead and get into articulation here. Head spins around. Looks down. Good. Can't really look up too far. We do have shoulder rotation. He could go up. We do have the butterfly joints, which, again, he can move really good with these butterfly joints. Try to back up the camera a little bit here, and we can kind of get in a little bit more. But, yeah, right here, the butterfly joints kind of show you how much they can move around. I mean, that moves around really good, I would have to say. But yeah, and then we got the double jointed arms, as usual, that we normally see. Little bit of ab crunch, as he could go down a little bit, just like that. He could bend down about that far. He can do a full split. So let me try to adjust the camera here. So he can do a full split right there. He could kick up pretty far. Super kick, as we saw with the split. We got the hip right there at the thigh cut. It is a little stiff out the packaging, but we do have the shin cut. Double jointed knees. And again, like we see under the knee pad, they still add detail, which is really cool. That, of course, that's going to be a little white right in there. But they did add detail under the knee pad. So we got double jointed right there. And with the Supreme, we do see the toe articulation there, the toe swivel. And we do got the ankle pivot right there. It looks really good. We don't see any gaps right there, which looks really good. I can go ahead and adjust the camera back up a little bit more. And I can pop on. Felt a little rough right there, but we did get it off. Pop on the other gear. As simple as that. It was a little stiff out the packaging. And then we got this other gear here. Check the articulation on it. Kick about that far. Can't kick back. He can't do a split as good as the other one can. The other one can do a split that doesn't go down as far, but we can still get everything we need out of it there. Again, right there. He can bend down about the same. And thigh cut. They do add a little bit of detail under the knee right there. And we do got the shin cut. Ankle movement there. And the swivel. And the toe articulation there. So, yeah, everything looks really good with the figure. The different gears look incredible. I could pop on another head sculpt. We can kind of have the screaming head sculpt there. If I can pop this one on, I'm going to have to do it off camera. Again, out of the packaging, everything's going to be kind of stiff. And everything's going to be kind of hard to get on and off at first. But once you do it a few times, it'll loosen up. Right there, we do have the screaming head sculpt right there. We can zoom in a little bit. It looks really good. It does sit a little high, we'll have to say, so that is kind of disappointing. It does sit a little high on the heads right there. Pop on the regular one. And like I said, they do get easier to put on. That one was a little bit easier. And there's the regular head. That one sits a little bit better than the other one. Still does stick up a little bit. But the figure looks absolutely incredible. No problems with it. We are going to go ahead and get into our action figure comparisons. Here's a look at our unmatched Will Osprey figure up next to the Supreme figure here. Everything does look good. Again, different times of Will Osprey's career. Again, we see no tattoos there. I did forget to put on the elbow pad there. If I can find it, it did come with a little elbow pad, but there it is right there. I guess I forgot to put it on earlier, so I can show you that. It is an open elbow pad, so it does not hinder our articulation any right there. Still does bend the same. But as far as height, the new Will Osprey looks a little bit taller. So, which I thought this older one scaled really good. But, yeah, a little bit taller there. Which we can see something real quick. Pop off this head sculpt. Pop off this one. We can just pop this Will Osprey head sculpt on there. It does sit really loose and a little low for my liking. So, doesn't really look the greatest there. But we can pop the top off that one, off of that one. And we can have this gear of Will Osprey too with on the Supreme. So again, they do scale really good with each other. No problem. They're going to pop the other Will Osprey gear on, which will be the one I'll leave it on for right now. But yeah, nothing wrong with either of these Will Ospreys. But the newer one is a little bit taller. Next, we are going to go ahead and get into our other AEW Supreme action figure comparisons. And here are our AEW Supreme action figure comparisons. These are just a few that I have. I do got some other ones sitting on my shelf there. But everything scales really well so far. Everybody seems to scale pretty good. He is a little bit taller than Kenny there. But like I said, he does scale really well with just about any of these guys here. CM Punk is a little bit taller than him. And so is Moxley or Ambrose, whatever you want to say. But these do scale really well with each other. No complaints on my end as far as scaling with these. But of course, the main problem with our scaling with Jazzwares and AEW is the WWE and the AEW comparisons here. So we are going to go ahead and look at our WWE Mattel Ultimate Edition comparisons. Here's a look at our Mattel Ultimate Edition and Supreme comparisons here. I do have this one I just decided to throw in there. It was the Great Muta Chase that I turned into my custom El Desperado. Let me know if y'all want to see me get into detail about all of my customs. I know y'all have not seen a bunch of my customs actually, but I just decided to throw that one in there. Everybody scales really well. Everybody looks good beside each other. I don't see any problems with these. They do scale pretty good as far as I can see right here. The camera might throw off the height a little bit, but they do seem to scale really well with each other. We are going to go ahead and look at our Super 7 New Japan action figure comparisons. Here's a look at our Super 7 Japan action figure comparisons. They do seem to scale really well with each other. Again, we'll just kind of speed through this. They do look around the same height because we know Will Osprey competed in Japan. That's where his career took off for the most part. They do scale pretty well with each other. Will is taller than all of them there, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm right, he was taller than all these guys in real life. But these do scale really well with each other, and it would look really good in a pick fed, anything like that. And we are going to go ahead and look at our last comparison for the day, which is our Super 7 Japan action figure comparisons. Here's a look at our Super 7 action figure comparisons. We know Super 7, or not Super 7, Storm Collectibles, my fault there. Storm Collectibles comparisons here. But we do know that Storm Collectibles kind of makes them a little bit bigger than they are in real life. Not really on the tall side, but on the jacked side there. We do have Minoru Suzuki and El Desperado there, which we know, pretty sure Suzuki's supposed to be a little bit shorter than that, but that is on Storm Collectibles right there. But these do scale really well. We are going to get him back on the turntable and get him in a few more poses to close out the video. And here's a look at our Will Osprey figure on the turntable. I did throw on the belt right there. Got him in his regular pose right there with the signature hands. Does look really good, and we're going to go ahead and show you some other gears and other poses right quick. Here's a look at another pose right quick. We do got the other gear and just kind of sitting there with a smiling face. Again, like I said, the figure is incredible. Everything moves around, and nothing seems to be getting loose. I've done popped everything off a good bit of times, and everything seems to be fine, but we are going to get back into some more poses. And here's a look at another pose again. Just, this figure moves really good, and I guess every time it pops up there, I'm just saying more good stuff about the figure. But we are going to go ahead and look at one more final pose of the day, and then we'll close it out there. I'm already keeping up most of your time, but here's the next pose. Here's the last pose of the day right here. We go ahead and start this. Forgot to start it. There we go. What are we doing? And there it goes, falling over. So I guess I shouldn't have started it in the first place. But back up there on the stand. Got him hitting the pose like he does on the box there, just kind of walking down the ramp right there. This figure looks incredible, moves incredible. You could pick this up at Ringside Collectibles or Jazzware's Vault if I'm right. It could be sold out, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to be exclusive to Walmart anymore. I'm pretty sure they're just going to be Ringside and Jazzware's. So if you have not picked one up, please go do so. I'm not sponsored by any one of those companies, but I'd say go pick it up from Ringside. I really like Ringside. I do all my stuff with Ringside. They're really incredible. I'm not sponsored by them, sadly, but maybe if you press that subscribe button, keep liking the videos, turn on the notification bell, maybe we can get there one day. Of course, that's like the main goal for me, is 1, to have a plaque, and 2, to have a sponsorship. So I hope you like this video, and I will see y'all guys next time. Peace.